Hello guys, it's me Simu Orahara, and first of all I want to say thank you so much for your beautiful comments about my birthday message that I have posted on the community. I have read them all. As I said, when I heard for the first time that Bleach new season will broadcast in October, I was very happy because that month I was born. So I said, what if one of the episodes will cross with my birthday, which is October 20? And unfortunately it didn't happen, but I'm fine with that because Bleach has given me already two gifts, which are the first and the second episode. And more than that, every time I see your encouraging comments, it gives me a lot of positive energy. Sometimes you feel depressed or you don't have the power to do anything, but one word or one comment, it can change everything. So you have power. Words have power, so use them guys in a positive way. And again guys, thank you so much, and let's move on to the topic of this video. Now, moving on to the topic of this video, I want to share with you some upcoming scenes of the third episode. The title of this episode will be March of the Star Cross, which is the same as the title of chapter 589. What I have to mention, and I didn't mention it in my review of the second episode, is that the studio did not complete the captain meeting that was in chapter 488, so that they stopped at the scene in which Mayuri says that the Van der Reich are in fact Quincy's. There are other scenes of the meeting, including this scene, so we will see the rest of them in the next episode. But guys, there is a very important scene that I have been waiting for it for years, and even I made a video about it. And it's the conversation that will take place between Yamamoto and Mayuri, because the frankness of Mayuri's words and how he addressed the old man Yamamoto is one of the strongest scenes I have seen in the story in general, because I have never seen the old man Yamamoto in such state of brokenness, and how Mayuri had no mercy or sympathy for him, so that he tells him that all this nonsense that we are in now is because of you, Yamamoto. So I hope the studio will come out with this scene in the best way. The episode also will witness the beginning of the fight of Ichigo against Kirgi-Oppi. The fight of Ichigo and Kirgi-Oppi, one of my favorite fights in the final arc, because it has a lot of diversity. We saw several Quincy techniques, so I can't wait to see this fight. And there is also an important scene, which what I have just mentioned in the title of this video. If you remember in my last video that I made about the opening, I said that the book that someone was browsing, that person it could be either Yuryu, because in the next scene Yuryu appeared inside the library, or it could be Kyoraku, because there is already a scene of him in the manga. He was browsing through a book while he was telling us the story of Yachiro Onana. But through this scene of the third episode, it seems that the owner of this scene is Yuryu. And this is an important event guys, because it does not exist in the manga. So this is an addition from Kubo himself. And it's opened a great door for discussion, because some of the pages in that book refer not only to the Quincy's, but a picture of Yamamoto as a young man. I mean, imagine that the Ishida family has not only the history of the Quincy, but some of the other side, which are the Shinigami, because Yamamoto is a part of the history of the Quincy, being the one who defeated Yuhabach in the past. And this brings us to one of the questions Kubo was asked about this topic at Club Outside. So that one of the fans asked him about the Ishida family and whether they have the Kurosaki family tree, so that if that was the case, wasn't Yuryu supposed to know that Ichigo actually belonged to a Quincy family, which are the Kurosaki? Kubo will give us an answer that emphasized two important things. First of all the books related to the Quincy are located in a closed place inside the hospital. Second, he said that the most important books are in Ryuken's personal room, and I think this is the important part of this topic. The most important books, whether related to the Quincy or perhaps even the Shinigami, are in Ryuken's room. And Kubo also said that Yuryu was forbidden from accessing these books or that information, so we saw that most of the information that Yuryu has are just normal information or basic information about the Quincy and the Shinigami, and he got all this information from his grandfather, Sokin. This one intentionally wasn't telling his grandson everything, but just some basic information, as I said. In the end, Ryuken will have taken the important books from his father Soken, since Soken was with the Wanderreich in the past. Thus, it may be that several documents were taken by Soken from the Wanderreich regarding some things related to them. Or maybe also the Ishida family itself has its own archive, which contains the history of the Quincy. So I'm really excited to see how Yuri will find out this shocking truth and how much information he will get. So I think that Yuryu's scene will be parallel to the scene of Mayuri's conversation with Yamamoto, because Mayuri will talk about how Yamamoto didn't kill Yhwach when he had the chance 1,000 years ago, and Yuryu will probably know about the same thing, how a battle took place in the past between Yhwach and Yamamoto. It ended with Yhwach's seal. So guys, I'm really excited for the third episode, and I think this episode will be one of the best and important episodes of the entire core, because it has the core story of the final arc, the fight between Yhwach and Yamamoto that has happened 1,000 years ago, and its effects that we will see in the second war between them. And I do think that from now on we will see a new storyline of Yuryu that doesn't exist in the manga, like how he has discovered the truth about there are other Quincy's, his speech with Ryuken, some flashback about Soken, how Yuryu will decide to go to the Wanderreich, how he will meet with the Quincy girls, etc. I mean, definitely these additions will have some sort of butterfly effect on the upcoming events, which will change the final battle. Because one of the main major reasons of Yhwach's defeat is because of Yuryu's arrow. Without that, Ichigo couldn't have the ability to defeat Yhwach. And when we talk about the arrow, we talk about Ryuken and before him Soken Ishida, one of the mysterious characters of the final arc. So that's why I think that Kubo has decided to correct what happened in the manga by rebuilding the final battle, starting with showing us what happened in the family Ishida. And to be honest with you, I was surprised that Ishida family has some information about the first battle of Yhwach and Yamamoto. I thought the Shinigami are the only ones that has this information, but actually this is a great idea. It's a good move to see the story from both sides. It was known that the Shinigami are the ones who won the battle, so I want to see the point of view of the Quincy's. Did really Yamamoto defeat Yhwach, or there was something else? Why in the first place Yamamoto didn't kill Yhwach when he had the chance to do that? Did Yhwach use the Almighty in his fight against Yamamoto? So these questions I really want to know their answers, either through a flashback from the Shinigami side or through the Quincy side. So what about you guys? Tell me your opinions and see you in my next video.